Hi, friend.
Hi, friend.
I'm Jenny,
I'm Taryn.
and welcome to
What
What
a
a Friend.
friend. We are really just so happy and sing-songy all the time.
Giddy
That's
girlies.
just our personalities. I feel
hmm
like we're just like, yay.
We are definitely those types of friends. We're,
Yeah.
we're like, hi,
Yes, so happy and cheery.
friend.
Because in all honesty, there's a lot to be grateful for.
Ooh,
So why not just be happy?
yes, there
And just,
is. There's so much to be thankful for.
yes, there is. Which is why we talk like that all the time. Hello, everyone. What an intro.
Hi, hi.
If you're watching on Spotify or YouTube, it's nighttime. This is going to be a very chill and exciting episode because it is part two of our, well, I guess maybe technically part three of our
Mm.
testimonies. And
hmm
last week, Jenny shared her beautiful testimony.
And this week we have Taryn's turn. Woo! I'm so excited to hear more details about your life that maybe I haven't heard before. Or
I'm nervous. I'm a little nervous.
don't be. It's
But we're just
okay.
going to jump right into it.
Yeah, we're all friends here.
You're right.
We're
You're
all
right. That's
friends
a
here.
good way to look at it.
I'm excited to hear how you've made it to this point right here, sitting on this couch.
All right. Are you buckled? Are you buckling up?
Yes, let me buckle.
You're in the passenger. We'll start off slow. Actually, no, we're really going to go in with a bang.
I'm excited.
Well,
I'm
we'll
on my
go.
toes.
We'll start the speed limit. We'll go the speed limit and we'll see
Okay,
how it goes.
okay.
You should always go the speed limit, everyone. Don't go over 5 over the speed limit. No speeding. This is metaphorical, strictly metaphorical in regard to this testimony I'm about to tell.
Oh my
Okay?
gosh.
So, we like to start off the testimony by just telling a little bit about ourselves.
hmm
Hi, everyone. I'm Taryn.
Hi,
I
Taryn.
am 25.
Mm.
25. I turned 26 in August,
25.
so that's exciting. I'll be Jenny's age in August.
We're one.
Wait, we're a year apart.
We
Oh my
are.
gosh, because your birthday's in September.
Uh-huh.
And that's the tea.
Wow, 1 year and 1 month.
I forget
Or
we're a year and a month apart.
no, that's people are gonna be mad at me for
No,
doing the
no.
math wrong. That was 11 months.
Wait, because why did I agree with you? I was like, yeah, a year and a month. It's crazy. So I'm 25. I am from New York, the lovely state of New York. I live there. Oh gosh, if my parents are listening, I'm probably going to get this wrong. I believe we moved when I was 9 years old. And we moved to a little town in Holly Springs, North Carolina. It's near Raleigh, North Carolina, if any of y'all are familiar with it. And I would say, similar to you, I'm very grateful. My parents have always raised me in a home centered around Christ.
hmm
My mom always implied that Jesus was the center of my life. He was the reason why I was there. And it's crazy because when I was so little, my mom would always talk about him and I would be like, are Jesus and God the same person? Are they different? I was always just so eager to learn about everything.
hmm
And mind you, I was probably 4 at that time. So I was still learning and understanding and doing all the things. But yeah, Jesus has always been a very integral part of my life.
I love that.
I always say this going into my testimony when somebody asks, but it's Jenny just reached for her drink and it wasn't there, and it was the funniest but saddest realization that was on your face. Do you want to go get it? Go get it.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. You got to stay hydrated. I always say that Jesus has always been an integral part of my life, but I feel like he truly wasn't the center of my life until the beginning of last year,
2024.
2024. Yes. And we'll get to that point. But first we have to go back to high school.
Ooh.
We're going to go back to high school.
High school Taryn.
High school me. Oh my gosh, if you knew me then I'm sorry.
What was high school Taryn like?
I don't know. I don't know what I was like. I was a choir kid.
You were.
I love to sing, and I still do. I love to sing. I was in theater my last year of high school. Fun fact, I was actually, I don't know if I want to say this because I don't want anybody digging anything up. I was Cinderella in my senior musical,
Cute.
and that was really cool.
That's cute.
That was fun. I had so much to be thankful for then. And high school was good. I honestly, not gonna lie, I was a pretty good kid. I didn't get into any like crazy stuff. I don't know what these kids be doing nowadays, but I did not get into any crazy stuff. And it wasn't until my senior year of high school that things kind of changed and my life completely changed. I would say life was pretty perfect. Like, I was happy.
Mm-hmm.
Things were amazing. I went to church with my mom almost every Sunday, and things were really, really good.
Back in Raleigh?
Yes, back in Raleigh. Then my senior year of high school happened, and I believe it was a couple months before graduation. So I had decided where I was going to college. I decided that I wanted to go to Penn State, all the way in Pennsylvania. And that was really exciting because I feel like every kid during that time was like, oh my gosh, like I get to start somewhere new and fresh. Before my high school graduation, my family actually, we were planning a vacation because we were blessed enough to be able to go somewhere on vacation once a year. Like that was our thing. We were talking about vacation, and my dad had told my sister and I that he went to the doctor and that they found cancer in his body. And I remember feeling like the rug was completely ripped underneath me and everything like that I knew. And I'll never forget that moment and where we were and what I was feeling when he told me and my sister that. And I was just like, in that moment, it's like, okay, well, I'm not going all the way to Penn State. Like, I'm not going to school. Like, I'm going to be here to help you and help mom as you go through chemo and do all the things. And all he wanted was for me to not let that affect my college career. And that was the hardest thing I ever had to do, was to leave my house in Raleigh, leave everything that I knew, my comfort, and go to school in Pennsylvania.
Wow.
Why I chose Pennsylvania, y'all, I'm still not really sure, but we'll get into that. We'll get into that. I make it to Pennsylvania. Okay. My dad's starting chemo at this point. I can honestly say my first 2 years at college, so my first year and my second year at Penn State, were definitely the worst years of my entire life.
Really?
Really. It was a really, really hard time for me. It was a time where Jesus was there. He's always there, guys. He's always there. But he was like the extra in a movie or on a TV show. Like, he was there, but I was not giving him any time of day or any consideration. I wasn't praying. I wasn't doing any of that because for me it was so hard to understand, like, I have had such a beautiful, blessed life, and all of a sudden my dad is diagnosed with an illness that has no cure. And that was really hard for me to grasp. And I think a lot of people don't know this too, but his illness is actually called multiple myeloma, and it's a very rare form of a blood cancer, and it affects your bone marrow and all the things. And he actually contracted it because of 9/11, because he was a first responder at 9/11. And on that day in 2001, all the fumes and everything that he was breathing in has stayed in his body all that time. And eventually it turned into cancer. And it actually affects so many people and so many families. There's a lot of times where tragedies will happen and it's like, oh my gosh, yes, horrible. And then people kind of move on from it. But a 9/11, of course, still affects my family to this very day.
Wow.
So that's been, of course, very difficult. And being away at school, that was so hard for me because I wasn't able to be there with my dad and my mom and my sister. You know, she was getting older, and I honestly don't remember at the time if she was still living at our house or if she had her own apartment. She might have been living in New York. I don't know. If my sister's watching this, text me. Let me know, because I'm actually not sure. Needless to say, it was just kind of like a whirlwind of everything. So those first 2 years in college We all know what happens in college. I was not doing things that I should have been doing. My first semester in college, I was so affected by what was going on back at home and my dad's illness and not really studying and focusing on other things and partying and drinking and doing all the things that I shouldn't have been doing. And it wasn't until the end of that semester I was like, okay, I need to get my life together. I've always was very hard on myself for that because to me it felt like I was letting the devil win in a sense in that situation. I was letting him tear me down. But something that you said the other day, which I love, God has already won.
And how has he already won? Jesus died on a cross.
He sure did. He sure did.
He didn't have to. He chose that.
Yeah. And I think I even say this now, like our lives are fully covered in the blood of Jesus. And that's something that I wish I would have leaned into and recognized then. But I didn't. And a lot of times it was a temporary fix. There was a band-aid, I had that next semester, which was the beginning of my sophomore year. And I think that was also really hard because I still had the same struggles that I did my first year at school. But that was when I started realizing that Penn State wasn't for me, and I loved the school. But unfortunately, there was a lot of things that happened at that school that didn't make me feel welcome or understood. I think that first semester of my sophomore year, I kind of realized that I wanted to be back home. That's a very hard realization because you put your all into a school and then you realize that you want to be closer to home. Even to this day, I have regrets of going to Penn State, and it's not a good feeling to have regrets in your life because you have to find comfort in knowing that God placed you exactly where you were supposed to be at that time in your life. And I still struggle with that to this day. My sophomore year was very hard. I fell into depression and anxiety. I felt lonely. I didn't feel understood, but instead of turning to Jesus, I kind of tuned everybody out. Essentially, I was selfish and I was the main character, but I was just so sad that it was almost like, it just felt like pure nothingness. And I remember calling my mom almost every night just crying because I just wanted to be close to home. Then by the grace of God, I started applying to schools and got accepted into UNC Charlotte, which was not my first decision at all. But for some reason, I was just like, okay, I'll go to UNC Charlotte. We'll see what happens. Whatever. So my third year of college, I went to UNC Charlotte, and that's where I met my husband.
Ivan. Wait, are we saying his name?
Yes.
Okay.
We are.
Ivan.
Sweet Ivan. That's where I met my husband. Was not expecting that I would meet my husband at UNC Charlotte. I had been in and out of relationships, and I had been cheated on twice, and then I had a very long relationship with a guy who broke up with me over text after 7 years, and it was just rough. Wow. I had a rough time, and I wasn't looking for a relationship. And then I walked into UNC Charlotte. I walked onto that campus, and Ivan was one of the very first faces that I saw.
Really?
And I know love at first sight is very cringy, but I said, oh, that's going to be my husband. And I don't know if he feels the same about me when he saw me, but I felt that way about him. I knew that was going to be my husband. I knew right away. At this time, of course, I'm coming from just a very hard time at Penn State, so I blamed God for going to Penn State. I blamed God for my dad's diagnosis. So yeah, I had the sorority my third year of college.
Did you join that semester?
I joined that semester.
Okay.
Because I wanted to be involved. I joined a sorority because I did not want to let myself fall back into the trap of feeling alone.
Oh.
Because at this time, I still wasn't considering that God was the one that was going to break me out of being lonely.
Right.
I was looking for other ways to fill those gaps in that loneliness.
Yes.
It filled those gaps temporarily.
Okay. You find some friends.
I did find some friends. I found Jenny, so that's a blessing. And I found my really good friend Hannah through the sorority. And still just a few girls that I love and appreciate so much. And for that, I'm thankful.
Another episode. We could go
Another
into
episode.
sorority life.
Oh my gosh. That'd be a crazy episode. But yeah, that was my third year of junior year, and my relationship with my now husband, Ivan, was just continued to blossom.
How did you guys meet? I mean, you said you saw him, but how did the interaction go?
He was on the orientation team. So when you're transferring into a new school, you have to go to orientation as you would if you were like a first year at a new college. He was on the orientation team, and I walked into the orientation room, and there he was.
Uh-huh.
And he was actually helping with the seating. So he helped me find my seat.
Okay.
He helped me and my mom
Cute.
find my seat.
Meeting you and your mom on the first time. That's so cute.
Yeah, that was just crazy time within itself. Because I don't know, I'm going to orientation, not expecting to meet my husband whatsoever. That was, again, I'm so very thankful for just that moment in my life. Of course, because sweet Ivan, he's everything. He is everything that I needed and more. And it's crazy because even back then I didn't know this, but like he has fully helped me and transformed me and helped me grow my own relationship with God. And at that time, that wasn't happening. But now, like, we're 2.5 years into marriage, and we read the Bible together at night, and we'll just be in the bed, and we'll just like, let's just read a little bit. Like, one day we were really feeling ambitious. I don't know what we were trying to read. I think it was maybe like book 1 of Psalms. And it's a little lengthy. So we were like going, and we were like, okay, wait, maybe let's take this into sections and let's really make sure we're understanding what's happening. But we are just so excited to grow in our faith together and just continue to know God, because once you make him the main character of your life instead of putting yourself as the main character, it's like that's all you want to focus on is him and growing your faith with God.
Right.
So then my senior year of college rolled around. Guys, I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. I changed my major probably 5 or 6 times in college.
Wow.
I went into college at Penn State as pre-medicine, and then I changed to neurology. I wanted to be a brain surgeon. And then I went to biology, actually. And then I decided that at UNC Charlotte, I wanted to be a teacher. So I switched to education. And then at the beginning of my senior year, I was like, actually, no, I'm going to go back to biology. That passion stemmed from me wanting to be a part of, the doctors and the nurses, especially with everything that happened with my dad. I wanted to be a part of that. So I wanted to do medicine in some way.
Wow.
But then 2020 rolled around, and then I got into like influencing and social media, and I found joy in that. That was making me so happy. I leaned into that, and that was nothing but God. Because I have a biology degree that I don't even use, and maybe I'll use it years from now. But like, I'm currently doing, full-time influencing and focusing. Yeah,
that's so cool.
Just focusing on the podcast and just some other things we may have up our sleeve. But I think, from 2020 on, I started slowly growing closer and closer to Jesus, and in a sense, mending our relationship. But mind you, the mending was something I had to do on my side, because Jesus has already given his life for us. He's already forgiven us. So for me, it was like, again, he was already there. He was at my front porch already. I just had to open the door. I would say I probably opened the door in 2023, and the beginning of 2023, and the door was open. But mind you, the door was only open a crack. Like, I was slowly like, okay, Jesus, I guess you can come in. Like, you can, like, put your toe in if you want. You, like, stick your head in. You can see what's going on. But the thing is, I barely let him in all the way because I was still experiencing hurt and regret from choosing Penn State. I still struggled with that. And I'm like, well, if I had originally decided to go to UNC Charlotte, like, I could have met my husband earlier. I actually don't know that. I don't know that.
Yeah.
Maybe my husband wasn't ready to meet me at the time. Maybe I wasn't ready to meet him at that time.
Right.
We weren't ready to meet each other. I struggled with that for a long time too. I was trying to figure out my career, and I got a job, and I loved my job. I was very happy with my job. I was a social media manager at a small business here in Charlotte.
Was this after college?
Yes. Thank you for clarifying. This was after college. So this was 2023. This is 2023 actually.
Okay.
So after college, graduated, yay, kumbaya. I kind of like jumped around from jobs, but this job that I had, I was like, oh, this is where I'm gonna be. This is where I'm gonna grow. And I was so excited, like extremely excited. I was a social media manager, loved, loved, loved my job. Until one day it was gone. And in that moment, I had to take a leap of faith because I didn't have anything. I had influencing, but I had loved my job so much as a social media manager for this company that I had kind of put my own personal page like on the back burner. So I wasn't like making as much money as I could have, or I wasn't putting passion into that anymore.
Because however much you put in, then you get out. It's like if you're not posting, then brands aren't going to be able to find
Then it's
you.
crap.
Yes.
You know? Listen.
Yes.
So, yeah, that happened.
Wow. I'm sorry. That must have been really hard.
Oh, it was really hard.
To lose your job.
It was really hard. And I felt like the same feeling I felt when I found out my dad had cancer. I felt like the rug had been taken from underneath my feet. But the thing is, that can happen at any time in your life. Yeah. It can happen in any situation.
That's true.
No matter what it looks like for you. But the thing that you have to realize is sometimes that happens, but Jesus is always there to put the rug back under. In the sense of that, what you may have lost is probably going to be gone. And in this sense, in this case, my job, it's gone forever. There's no going back. That rug, she's in the landfill somewhere. She's gone. But I realized that happened to me because it was Jesus saying, enough is enough. You are going to make me the center, not your job, not your marriage, not anything else. You are going to make me the center of your life. And since then, I have completely and utterly transformed my life, my faith, everything. So I got this job in 2023. I was only there for about maybe a year, if that. I got this job at the beginning of 2023, and then I found all this out the day I walked in, didn't have a job. It was the first week of February, in February 2024.
Okay.
And the day I lost my job,
wow,
I got a text message from a friend that said, hey, we're starting a Bible study. Here's the first date of this Bible study. So I was like, okay, I need to go to this Bible study.
Oh my gosh.
I need to be there. I went. And I met these amazing sisters in Christ. I met some of my really, really good friends to this day. I found out about Vision Church, which is now my home church. From then on, I did not look back. Like, I have completely and utterly, surrendered my life to Jesus because I wasn't letting another rug be swept underneath me. Because as long as you have Jesus, it doesn't matter what's going on underneath you because he will always hold you.
Yes, he will.
Like, you have to completely surrender yourself to him.
Yes.
You have to.
Yes.
Because the world is a scary place.
Yes.
And things happen outside of our control.
Yes. And also, because you're walking with Jesus doesn't mean bad things are not going to happen, because they are.
They will still happen, but it's a matter of how you continue to move forward.
And
if you move forward with him.
It's your heart posture.
Yes. It's been amazing to watch myself transform. And then we rekindled our friendship, which is a very beautiful thing. And it's crazy just the timing of everything that happened in our lives as individuals. And I got baptized. We got baptized.
Yes.
I knew I wanted to get baptized. I ended up fasting for the first time. After you shared your experience about fasting, I was like, okay, I need to do that. I was always terrified to fast.
Okay.
Which essentially fasting is, it looks different for everyone.
Yes.
I would say.
And anyone can approach it in different ways. It's really about what God lays on your heart.
Yes. I ended up fasting for, I think it was 42 hours.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I can't remember. My first time. It was a doozy. It was a doozy. But during these periods of fasting, you are so hungry. You are absolutely so hungry.
Yes.
But instead of having food, I sat down and I opened my Bible, and you're having your daily bread. And you're reading the scripture. And in that moment, Jesus was telling me to get baptized.
Yeah.
I rededicated my life to Jesus. I actually got baptized when I was 16. In that moment, it meant a lot to me. But I don't think I fully understood what it meant to completely surrender your life to Jesus.
Right.
I think I was still doing things as a teenager where I was still living for the world.
Mm-hmm.
I still didn't understand. I was living for both. I was going to church and I was going to Bible study and I was in the
Yeah.
teen worship team, but I was also doing things and being crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Living your life of the world and with God, it's
Yes.
not really possible to do at the
They
same
don't
time.
go hand in hand.
Nope. Because when that happens, you're just feeling either completely strongly convicted or your heart is literally extremely convicted that you're living your life of the world and you're consuming all of these.
Yeah.
I don't know what. Sorry. I
No,
totally messed that up.
I got you though. I got you. Because it's almost like you're feeding yourself of the word and trying to understand what that
What
looks
Jesus
like for you.
is.
Yeah, and what Jesus is. But then it's just kind of it's coming out the other hole. You're not absorbing it.
Yes.
You're not taking it in
Yes.
at all. Because you're also focused on the world
And yourself.
and yourself. Sometimes I wonder like, why did it take me this long to fully open the door and let him into my life? And it's because I still held on to the things that I felt went wrong in my life.
Oh.
I still hold on to that.
Do you think you were blaming God that those things in
Yeah.
your life happened?
Yeah. I
And
didn't understand.
and you're almost like mad at him
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
you had to deal with those like really hard times.
Yeah. For sure. It was hard to understand why sometimes it still is, why he does things, why things happen in his timing. But the reality of it is like you truly have to completely surrender yourself to him in order to understand that. Because if you don't, you never will. You're always going to question. You're always going to ask yourself why.
It's only when you get to that point of fully surrendering that then he reveals to you that he is going to be there and that he is going to provide and that truly you only need him.
Through last year, that transformation for me, I think that was the first time I was like, wow, okay, I know why this happened. I know why you did this at this time. I understand now. Because his plan is always better than our own. Even when we think we know everything, we actually don't. We actually know nothing. We actually know nothing. Because his plan is always better. And again, once you find peace and you completely surrender yourself and just obey him, that's that. That is that. That's it. And I can honestly say, trials and tribulations still happen in my life. But it's a matter of my mindset now, and it's a matter of me completely leaning back in his arms and giving him everything.
You're giving it all to him.
Yeah.
And that's so beautiful, Taryn. That's so beautiful how you've like came so far, and I feel like I learned so much about you.
I feel like I learned so much about you with your testimony too.
Really?
Yes, I do. There's still so much learning and growing to do, but I'm so excited because I am not looking back. Like I'm not. I'm not letting myself look back. I have sisters in Christ who can hold me accountable.
Yes.
My husband who's continuing to grow his faith, hold me accountable. My church holds me accountable. My parents hold me accountable. Also, something to share is my dad has always struggled with his faith all his life. And last year, he actually became a deacon at our church, which is so incredible and amazing because throughout everything that has happened in his life to him, he still sought the Lord. And the Lord always answers. And my dad now serves at my home church.
Wow. That's such a beautiful story.
Yeah.
That's beautiful because man, if anyone's went through it, I couldn't imagine.
Do it, then I sure can let Jesus into my home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too, is that he is always there and he's just waiting.
He is literally, y'all, if you have not opened your door, he is there. He's waiting. But it has to be the right time for you too. Sometimes it takes us a while. It does. It took me years.
Same.
I was only letting him half in.
Same.
Yeah.
I can relate in the sense of like how we both did have like a Christian upbringing. We fell into our own world, living our own life. Sometimes it really takes like you getting to your own wit's end in order to turn to Jesus.
Yeah.
And then it's a daily commitment.
Yes.
You
It
have
is.
to wake up every morning and die to yourself and pick up your cross and walk with the Lord. Because if you don't, you're just going to keep living for yourself and you're not going to be putting God first. It takes daily work, daily commitment, and reading your daily word, getting your daily bread.
Listen, it's easier to fall off the path than it is to stay on it.
It's a narrow path.
Yes. So you have to actively be doing the things that helps you stay on that path. And sometimes we may fall off the path, but you got to get back on.
Jesus is always there to pick you back up.
Yes, he is.
He's always there. And honestly, no matter
Always do.
what we do, he's so gracious.
He's a forgiving God.
Yeah, so forgiving.
He's a forgiving God.
And so quick.
Yes.
So quick to forgive you.
He'd be quick with it. It really is.
His arms are wide open.
And what a friend we have in Jesus. Truly.
Like, can we just end it there? Because, well, no, I'm saying, like, that was the absolute
Well, that's
perfect.
all I have to say.
I'm like, well, I was literally about to say, that is the most perfect tie of a knot to, like, what a friend we have in Jesus.
Yeah. There's nobody greater. Nobody better. What a friend we have in Jesus. And we have a lot to learn from him. I have a lot to learn from him.
Same. And that's why we're here together.
Yes. Yes.
We're doing this together, and hopefully we are all going to be learning together throughout this journey.
Yeah.
In this process together.
Yeah.
Through What a Friend.
Well, guys.
Taryn.
I hope you enjoyed.
That was such a beautiful story. I want you to know.
Thank you.
You have
I was
came
really
such a far
nervous.
way.
I have things I'm not proud of, you know?
Same.
But
Same.
I can't look back at that. Like, I have to focus on.
Right. You wouldn't be who
What's
you are
ahead of me.
today.
Yeah.
You would not be who you are today if you didn't go through what you went through.
Right. Exactly.
You had to jump over those.
There weren't even puddles. They're like lakes. I had to jump over oceans. Huge bodies of water that I have had to jump over. But I made it to where I am today. And it's only up from here.
I'm happy to be here with you through this process.
I'm happy to be here with you. I'm so thankful for you.
I'm thankful for you, friend. Like, wow.
So you guys were so like singy-songy, like cheery, like yay. You need that in your life, you know? I'm excited for our next episode, friends, which is going to be on relationships and all the things. So if you have any questions, comments, feel free to submit those to whatafriendpodcast@gmail.com.
Yay.
Yay. Bye, friends.
Bye.